Gig math, do the math.
Delivery driver daily logbook day 2, Sunday, April 14th. It started out sunny and clear, but it ended up cloudy and stormy. Start time 4:30 p.m., end time 7:05 p.m. Total time 2.58 hours. Starting mileage 34,167, ending mileage 34,217, total mileage 50 miles. There was one order from DoorDash, and that was $13.50, and there were 4 orders from Uber Eats for $35.13. So a total of 5 orders and $48.63, which is pretty horrible. The DoorDash acceptance rate started at 53% and it ended at 49%. It was nothing but crappy orders. Now let's figure out the earnings per hour. Total earnings were $48.63, and we're going to divide that by 2.58. That means earnings per hour were $18.85. Now let's figure out earnings per mile. So that's 48.63 divided by 50 miles, 97 cents a mile. Not even $1 a mile. It just was not a good day. So let's go down to expenses. There were 0 actual expenses, but if I want to figure out the standard mileage rate, which is 67 cents per mile, we're going to take 0.67, multiply it by 50, and that is $33.50. I'm putting it here in parentheses just because it's not an actual figure. If I wasn't making these videos, I'd probably just be keeping track of the actual expenses. But I think for the purpose of these videos, it is good to point out that I could figure out the expenses either way with this book. And there's plenty of room to include both of these if I wanted to. So for the daily totals, I'm just going to copy the totals from the top since I only went out once today, not twice. So that's 2.58 hours. Mileage 50, orders 5, earnings $48.63, expenses. Now I can split this, and let's do actual expenses here on the right. So that was 0, so that means my net income would be $48.63. And if I want to put the standard mileage expenses here, I'll put $33.50 there, and then we need to do some math and just see what a disaster it really was. $48.63 minus $33.50 equals $15.13. Wow, that is bad. So now let's figure out the net earnings per order. So what we're going to do is I'm going to take the net income. Let's do actual first, $48.63. And then I'm going to divide that by 5 because there were 5 orders. And that means the net earnings per order was $9.73. And if I want to figure it out after the standard mileage deduction, I'm going to take 15.13 divided by 5, and that's $3.03. So after taking a standard mileage deduction for each order, only $3 was earned. So the net earnings per mile is going to be the same that it was above because there was only one driving session for the day. But let's figure it out using the standard mileage deduction method. So we're going to take $15.13 and divide that by 50 miles. So that means the earnings per mile were 30 cents after taking the deduction. I mean, I could have just subtracted 67 cents from the 97 cents and got the 30 cents per mile. So the net earnings per hour, we calculated that as $18.85. Now let's do it with the standard mileage deduction. So it's $15.13 divided by 2 hours, 2.58 hours. And that comes to $5.86 per hour. $5.86 per hour using the standard mileage deduction as the expenses. That is disastrous.